Hey y'all, welcome back to Farm Life Budgeting. This is Kristen, and today is Water War Wednesday. We will bring, I think it's $10. One, two, three, four, five, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Yes, it is $10 in cash. We're going to change it out for $10 in prop bills. Because I wanted to play this, but I didn't have the money to really pay, like the budget to really play whole dollars. So we're going to play with coins. This collab comes from these 15 creators. We have Lacey over at Blue Kiwi Budgets, Dawn over at Dawn Sunrise Budgeting, Anna over at Anna Banana Budgets, Charlotte over at Charlotte May Budgets, Brittany over at Budgeting with a Ginger, Tiffany over at Saving with Tiffany, Chris at Crisscross Budgets, Maribel at Mint Dough Co., Tara at Lifted Up and Living, Glow with Save with Glow, Becca Budgets 777, Vicky at Pink Plum Budgeting, Brooke at Bees Budgets, Ashley over at Sassy Ginger Budgets, and Punky at Punky Pennies. So what we're going to do is we're just going to start here at Blue Kiwi Budgets. Let me get a marker. So I am filming this in advance, of course. I normally do. I am roughly 2 weeks ahead on my videos. And that's normally how I am. So we're just going to start rolling the dice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One, two. So I'm just going to reach in here where my extra players are. Okay, and we're going to go with Save with Glow. Okay, if I can get it out. 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Okay, we're going to Becca Budgets. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. So let's see who she's throwing her water balloon at. Okay, that is Anna Banana Budgets. Got an envelope that doesn't want to behave. Let me fix that. One, two, three. So we're going to roll the D6. 1, 2, 3. I am not ready to cross off the tubs of water balloons. 1, 2. Just yet. I would like to complete all the extra numbers, like all the numbers first, before I start marking them off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, let's see who Anna is throwing a water balloon at. And that is Miss Tara over at Lifted Up and Living. That one's backwards. We're going to go ahead and pull these out. I did shuffle them before I stuck them in there, so Let's find Miss Tara. Okay, and her pretty little turtle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1 and 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. I owe 1. So we're just going to mark it like that. I have a hair there. Okay. We are going to put these creators back in here. Just set those over there. We're going to move dice tray, move marker. We're going to go back here to the back. That folder's, or that envelope is dirty. Okay. So we played in Becca Budgets, and she got a total of $50, $1.50. So we're going to put $1.50 in here. Save with glow. Got 50, 75, $1.50. So we're just going to do it like that. And for every dollar that we get in prop change, we'll put real cash in. Okay. Tara got 50, 75, $1. 50, 75, $1. 25, 50, $1. 50, $1, and then 50. So Tara got $4.50 today. I wasn't sure I was going to go ahead and start recording yet, because I have, as of today, I have all my videos already recorded, edited, and scheduled for all the way to the end of May. Anna Banana Budgets got 50, 75. Okay, we're going to go $1, another $1, 25. So it's not that I need to get these done, but I needed to go ahead and record and do some changes. I posted a post over the weekend on like the community tab or what have you. Okay, so we need 25. Pardon my reach. I have some extra coins over here to make our 10. 25. And I want to make sure that I replace what we did not spend. 50. 50. And 50. Okay. And then I didn't put an extra envelope in here, so we're just going to stick this money back here, along with the prop change. But I need to make some changes in my binders. So that is something else we are doing today. I know I just, like by the time you guys are seeing this, I have just posted my new layout for June. Like my new envelopes, my new, I don't think I've shown you what we were doing daily yet. For every day of the week, but I need to make some changes with my categories and fill you guys in on something. Let me put this up, which is my marker. I'm just going to put it up and move it out of the way. And in my post, when I posted it, I said I was not ready to talk about it and that I would talk about it when I got ready. Am I really ready to talk about this? Not really. But I need to take an envelope out of all my binders. And this will change my budget. But I need to take my envelopes named Dad out. I will no longer have a need for them. So, May 15th, you guys know that I had gotten Dad out of the hospital a little while ago. Like, not even a week ago. Well, I'm recording this on the 18th. We got Dad home out of the hospital, on the 9th. On the 10th, he was back to bossing me around. He was riding his four-wheeler like it was, we were at home. So Sunday I checked on him. Monday I checked on him. We arranged for a driver because he was not feeling like he needed to drive. So we arranged drivers for dialysis to get him back and forth for at least Monday and Friday. But I went ahead and checked on him Monday afternoon because he needed coffee. Well, he had called me Monday morning and said, "Sis, can you come down and put a lidocaine patch on my back before I go to dialysis?" And I said, "Sure, let me put on some clothes and I'll come down." And he said, "Okay." So I put on some clothes and I will redistribute this money in upcoming videos. So I went down, put the lidocaine patch on him, talked to him for a few minutes, and then I came back home to get ready for work. I went on to work, and he had asked me if I could get him some coffee. On my way home, well, he needed creamer. He wasn't out of coffee yet. He had about a week's worth of coffee left. So he's like, "While you're there getting me creamer, just go ahead and get me coffee." So I went ahead and stopped and got him coffee and creamer and stuff. Brought it home and dropped it off. And, let him know that I was at home. If he needed anything, give me a call. On Tuesday, like I told him what time we had to leave for his Tuesday appointment. He had to go get his fistulogram done, which was his dialysis fistula cleaned. And so we had to be at the hospital by 7:15 Tuesday morning, which meant we had to leave here about 6. So we done that on Tuesday. On Wednesday, I checked on him after work. He said he was nauseous and dizzy, just wasn't feeling good. And he was going to get him a cup of coffee and a honey bun and go sit down in the recliner. So he went and did that, and I told him I was coming home. Call me if he needed me. I live within 100 yards of his house. So rock on to Thursday. I went on to work. He had a home health nurse. Well, we were trying to get him some home health, physical therapy, just a little bit of help around the house, maybe build up some strength, because he had a bad knee and he really wasn't wanting to walk around that much. So we were trying to get a little bit of strength back in his legs. I stopped Thursday after I got done with work. I stopped at his house on my way home. I asked him how it went, and he's like, well, they're going to send a physical therapist a couple times a week, or at least once a week. There's no need for a nurse right now because, dialysis checks my blood pressure and oxygen levels and, all that good stuff. And I'm like, okay, well, when do they start? And he's like, well, they'll start next week. I'm like, okay. Well, Tuesday you have a doctor's appointment and, his regular dialysis days. He's like, okay. And he goes, I don't know that I have a driver for dialysis tomorrow, sis. I'm like, well, Dad, I really can't take you. And he's like, well, you can just take me, drop me off, and then come back and pick me up. I said, well, if I'm in the middle of a project, a store isn't going to be happy if I just leave a mess for over an hour, because where I was planning on working at Friday is like 30, 45 minutes from the dialysis clinic. And so I was going to be gone over an hour just to go get him and bring him home. And he's like, well, you're not going to be happy if I wreck my truck. I came home. I was pissed off. I just kind of took the night to figure out what I needed to do. So I looked at my schedule, rearranged it, and just said, you know what? My boss knows that I've got things going on with Dad. If I have to push projects, I have to push projects. So Friday morning, I got up. I had actually posted something on Facebook because we had asked one of Dad's friends to come out and take care of the animals. Dad has like 5 dogs and some chickens left, and just a handful of chickens. He doesn't have that many chickens left. It's an easy 10, 15, 20-minute job. It really is like 10 minutes, and that's just because you have to drag a water hose. And I normally don't do it because I tend to either overfeed or I just don't take the time to do it. So I got up Friday morning. I went and took care of the animals because this guy hadn't been out in 3 days. And I'm like, these animals need feed and water. And so I made sure, I was sitting here because I got up early Friday morning. I posted on Facebook something about what happened to the days where if you said you were going to do something, you did it. And that if you reach out to me and I don't respond, just know that I'm juggling about 100 different things. Of course, my phone started going off because I don't post on Facebook often. Especially something like that because my family could tell I was pissed. But I posted the post. put my clothes on, went to take care of the animals, went to make sure that Dad had a ride to dialysis. And he said, I do. A neighbor friend of ours was going to take him. So about 7:30, the neighbor pulled up. We sit and chit-chatted for a little while, and then I left to go to work. Dad asked me where I was working at, and I told him Ravenden, which is, right here where I live. And he's like, okay. And I said, I'll check on you this afternoon when you get done, or when I get home. He's like, okay. I'll see you this afternoon. I mosey on to work. I'm sitting in the car, checking my notifications and, texting back and forth with a friend and a family member that was checking on me, offering help. And I'm just like, no, I've got it. I'm just pissed. We had asked somebody to come do this, and they don't want to do it. They've not showed up, so I'm just pissed. So I'm still sitting in my car, chit-chatting. The assistant store manager at the Ravenden store comes out and says, hey, so just so you know, there is a vehicle incoming. There was a first responder in the store that had gotten a page that a vehicle with a possibly deceased person and an ambulance would be rolling in. She wanted to let me know, don't be alarmed, it's not for her or anyone in the store, which she was the only one in the store besides the first responder. Like I could see the parking lot and how many cars was in the parking lot. But that had happened once or twice before while I worked there. Paramedics would just meet a vehicle there at the store. So I didn't think too much about it. I was preparing to get out and go in. So I got out of my car. And then I looked back towards the road and see the friend's truck that was taking Dad to dialysis turn in towards the store. At that point, I thought Dad had just, forgot something or needed a cold soda, because he normally took a Pepsi and a honey bun to dialysis. So I thought maybe he just needed a cold soda, or he was out of honey buns, and he just forgot to tell me. So the friend pulls into the store, and he starts motioning me to come to his truck. At this time, I see that Dad is not sitting up. So I take off running towards the truck. Have in mind I'm across the parking lot. And I get there to the truck before the first responder makes it to the truck, who was standing pretty close to where the friend pulled. As I'm approaching the truck, the friend says, I think he's dead. So I swing open the door, pull Dad's hat and his glasses off of his face, and he was gone. The first responder asked me if he can get in there and check him out. And he turns and looks at me and says, I don't feel a pulse. Dad had a DNR. We are assuming he had a massive heart attack. Or he suffocated from too much fluid on his lung, or whatever that can cause. Because we were about a week out from the hospital, where he was on the 9th when they released him. They drained 1.2 liters of fluid off of his lung before they sent him home. And he had developed that within the week of being at the hospital, doing everything right. So I called my sister. I answered questions. But the friend says, Chris, because they all call me Chris. Chris, he said he was going to be sick. And then he just slumped over. And he wouldn't respond. So instead of trying to get the paramedics to find him on the gravel road, he brought him to the store where I was working at, and had them meet him there. So Dad is gone. He is no longer suffering. And he's in a better place with my stepmother and his animals, and he can take care of his animals like he used to. Now the process of cleaning up around his house, cleaning his house out, that all will start taking place. We kind of got a game plan this weekend. Of course, my Friday was spent making phone calls, going to a funeral home. Luckily, Dad wanted cremated, so that was already arranged. Like, it was already paid for. Me and Brian own the land. His title for his truck was signed. All of his bills was paid. My sister was already on his bank account in the event of death, paying. So she's handling the checking account. And I don't have a lot of things except for getting the pastures and everything cleaned up. And Dad was a junk hoarder, so I have to get that cleaned up. My original thought was, and honestly, my original plan since I bought this place in 2017, or since we bought this place, was that once Dad passed, we would tear down his house because it wasn't worth living in when we moved down here in 2018. And it has just went downhill even further. But it was Dad's cup of tea, so he lived down there. There's just too much work to make it livable when you could just get, like me and Brian without the kids, a tiny home would be fine. Like we could get a metal home, a tiny home. Like we could just do things differently than having to put the money into that house to get it livable. And for us, Dad was not the cleanest man, so he had roaches and he had mice, and just overall dirty. I tried to clean. When he felt good, I tried to clean the house and he just would not help me with it. He would just leave food on plates and let it get sticky instead of washing his plates. Glasses of milk just sitting out to clabber instead of being dumped out. So I quit cleaning on his house. I refused to take care of his animals. And I know this sounds bad, but I refused to take care of his animals because the more we did, the more he would bring in. And I may work a part-time job, but I still work full-time hours. Brian works full-time. We have our own lives. You know, we have our dogs. We have our own house to take care of. So we could not sustain 2 households plus all of his animals on our own. But Dad knew. Me and Sis think that Dad knew. Because she had called to check on him Friday morning, and he said, "Love you, Sis. I'll see you whenever." Although he knew she was planning on coming out on Saturday. I seen him because I went and took care of the animals. My boys are all doing okay. Well, my oldest is not handling this good. And I actually hurt his feelings trying to talk him out because he doesn't want me to tear down the house. He wants to move in and fix it up. But I'm talking, the wall in the living room has separated from the floor. Dad did get that fixed a little bit, but not as much that it needed. The bathroom is filthy. Like, Dad did not take a bath or a shower very often. So his tub is just corroded in nasty, non-used gunk. His toilet is nasty. There's no septic system, and the line is currently kind of clogged. And then all the plumbing needs redone. All the electric needs done. Like, the house needs ripped down to the studs. New electric ran throughout. It needs a new roof. It needs some new walls put in. Because Dad had a roof leak, or a leak in the roof above the cook stove. And we tried to convince my oldest son that it was just throwing good money at bad money, and they are already struggling. Granted, my kid's girlfriend is headed back to work after she had their child, who is, well, she'll be a year old in August. But he wants to move into the house and fix it up. He doesn't want me to tear it down. And it's aggravating because he's seeing the sentimental stuff of when he was out here all the time. He was out here a lot when my stepmom was alive. And then once she passed, he didn't come out as much. But he was, let's see, that was 2014. That was 10 years ago. Well, 12 years ago now. Oh, she passed in 2015. So 9 years ago. 10 years ago. I don't know. She died in 2015. And she died here at home. She died here on the farm. But he's handling it hard. My middle son and my youngest son, they're doing okay with it. But my youngest son got to where he wouldn't come out because of my dad. They had got into it really bad right before my son moved out and moved back in with his dad. Because Dad talked to my kids like they were dogs. Worked them to death. And if they had a better way of doing things, Dad would scream and yell at them until they did it his way, and then his way wouldn't work, and it would be all their fault. And so my youngest son didn't come out because of Dad. My middle son was the same way, but he stuck it out a little bit longer until I kicked him out. Well, until he found a job that he could get away from the house and not be Dad's peon every day. And then, of course, I kicked him out 2 years ago. Or last year. I guess it was 2 years ago I kicked him out. Because he had graduated, and then his girlfriend graduated last year. But so Friday, I called the kids and let them know I was not expecting to see everybody out here because, well, when they got here anyway. Because my oldest son, he was working, and his girlfriend had a CNA class. And then my middle son had a doctor's appointment for his baby. And my youngest son was at work. Like his dad, because he works with his dad. His dad wasn't even supposed to tell him until after he got off work. Because he didn't want it to ruin his day. But about, I don't know, noon, 1 o'clock, they came pulling in. So, I had all my boys here, and then I call him my adopted son, but he just claims me as one of his mamas. He's got several mamas. But he grew up with thinking calling my dad grandpa and stuff. So he showed up with his family, and he had a drive. Like he works an hour and a half away from home, and they live 2 hours away. Or no, he works 2 hours away, and they live an hour and a half away. So he didn't get here until late afternoon, early evening. I spent most of my day on the phone, calling Dad's friends, letting them know, and I still didn't get to everybody. But yeah, so my budget is changing. I will no longer need money for the pharmacy, or random groceries, or gas, to take Dad back and forth to appointments. And I could actually slow down at work if I wanted to. Like, I don't have to pick up extra if I didn't want to. I probably will continue to pick up extra. It just really depends on how demanding my farm life is, because I now have all of it to take care of. I do know that my oldest son wants to move out here as quickly as he can. Me and my sister was going to clean the house this weekend, but I refused. If he wants to move out here, I will make sure that all of Dad's things are out of the house once I get a dumpster out here, because we aren't keeping anything. Dad had roaches. So they are not coming into the house, into my house. I just, nope. So, like, I have to clean out his house of his things. I am not going to lift on the furniture. I am not going to deep clean it. But I will remove the things that they will no longer need. I broke down at the beginning But I haven't really broke down much after that. I get pissed off. I did not think I would be the one taking care of him in the end, but I was. And that's okay. I am relieved he is gone, so maybe I can live my life again. Because since I moved down here in 2018, it has been all Dad. I didn't go on vacations. If we took the kids to clothes shop, it was a 4-hour drive one way, shop all day, and then we would grab a hotel room for the night, and then we would be back here by noon, 1 o'clock the next day. I could never take a vacation for more than an overnight stay. I could not beautify the outside of my land, outside around my house. Couldn't really walk out of my house without my dad's dogs barking. Granted, I still have the dogs. Well, I've got 5 dogs and a handful of chickens and some ducks that I'm taking care of. I thought my chickens would be gone by now. I don't know what to do with the dogs, but I'm not keeping them. I do not want them. I don't want the chickens. I may keep the ducks. Because I do like watching the ducks on the pond and where my desk sits. The pond is, I look at the pond every day when I'm sitting at my desk. So, but I'm not keeping anything. I have my 2 dogs. That's all I want. I've lived with animals outside for 40 years. I'm done. I'm over it for now. I need a break. I do not like what I call pin barkers, which are dogs that just sit out and bark in their pins because they want out, they want attention. I can't do it. So, and I'm not going to do it. I do have calls out to people that Dad coon hunted with because they're blue tick coon hounds. So I'm just waiting to see what they're going to do. My sister's talking about possibly taking one of the dogs. My oldest boy wants one of the dogs, but he wants the quieter one. But me and Brian, pretty well just would go to work and come home and stay in the house. Because every time we walked out the door, the dogs barked. And they just would not shut up. So we've got a lot of work to do. And for the last 2-3 months, we've sat here every night from dark to daylight listening at the dogs bark because he had 2 in one pen. Yesterday, one of them got out and I put it in a different pen. And they didn't bark all night. They were barking this morning when I got up at 6, but they didn't bark all night that I heard. Because I didn't go to bed till after midnight. But, very long story, just to say Dad has passed away. So my budget's changing. And I needed to get those envelopes out of my wallet and my binders because there is no need for them anymore. Because now everything will be farm or home. or my kids or my grandkids, because all my kids are talking about moving out here. My oldest boy wants the house, and then my two youngest are talking about putting like tiny homes or just a small home on their acreage, because my kids will inherit this. Like, we own the land. So my kids will inherit the land, and my oldest wants to move out here as soon as he can. My middle boy will probably be out here within a year. And then my youngest son, I'm not sure about him, but he may actually visit a little bit more once he gets a new truck or a new car, like something to drive, a new vehicle, because he don't have nothing but his little feetsies right now. But I will be back tomorrow with Dice Roll Thursday. I am going to go put on some sweats, go take care of the animals this morning. Then I'm going to come back in and get a shower and go to work for my long day, because I have got to get these projects caught up at work. Because the stores are waiting for me to get there to do these, because they are my stores, and my stores do not want anybody else in them. I did give a couple of projects away, but my stores know her and is okay with her and understand the circumstances, because I just need the projects done. I need to get them done, and I can't get to them. So I need her to help me. But I do not need the I'm so sorries. Just keep the family in your thoughts and prayers. I mean, it's been over 10 years, and my oldest son still cries over my stepmom. So, it's rough to navigate him through death, but we do get there eventually. But please talk to your family about your final wishes. Put it in a will, but make sure that they know what you want in your final days. I have been prepping for Dad's final days since we bought the place in 2017. It was always a conversation we had. Like, we did not shy away from that conversation. So yes, he's gone. I'm sad. I'm relieved. But I'm not stressed. Because everything that is left is, I have to do the memorial, but I also need to clean the place, because I hadn't had time to get out on the mowers and mow my pasture, which is out in front of my house. Dad had got his yard mowed a couple of times this year. So everything that I have left to do is just clean up, which can take however long it takes. So I have no stress. His cremation was paid for. We had to put his obit together, but that was his obituary, that was fairly easy. He doesn't have a lot of family left as far as siblings. He's got one sister left. I am the middle child, so there is an older sister and a younger brother. Trying to remember all the kids, and all the grandkids and the great-grands. I'm the only one with the great-grands for Dad. I have grandkids. My brother's kids do not have grandkids, and my sister does not have children. So it was fairly easy to navigate that. Everything was already planned. We don't have siblings fighting with each other. When my oldest son asked if he could move into the house, I made it very clear that his brothers had to agree because I do not want them to have resentment. And this place will eventually be theirs. So I wanted them all in agreement, which my youngest and my oldest says tear it down. Or my youngest and my middle sons say tear it down. It's not worth it, Mom. It's not worth it. And I believe that. It's not worth the house is not worth it. But my oldest son does not see that. He doesn't want to feel that. He doesn't want to see it. He wants to fix it up. It will never be good. The bones aren't even good. Like if it had good bones, it would be one thing, but it doesn't even have good bones. My dad squeaked when he walked. He was so cheap. When he bought this place, it had a feed shed on it with a lean-to. That feed shed with a lean-to is now the living room and it's the living room and the master bedroom. Well, one of the bedrooms. Dad built the house for 5-foot people, not 6-foot people. The floors are sagging in several places. All the plumbing needs replaced. All the electric needs replaced. It needs a new roof. It needs new insulation. It needs all the roaches out of it. You will never get all the mice from coming in the house. But I don't know what I'm talking about. So, he will learn, like he normally does, that Mom and Brian were right. My middle son, when I kicked him out, he moved down to his uncle's place, and his uncle gave them a house to fix up and move into, and he spent months of money and time tearing into things just to get down to some of the final rooms, and it had mold in it that they could not get gone. And they had a small baby, or at least on the way. So he put good money into bad, and it just did not work out. And we're all afraid that's what my oldest son is going to do, but he just doesn't care. And he's barely scraping by as it is now. So, I don't know. But anyhow, that's all I got. I'll be back tomorrow with That's Real Thursday. I gotta get my day started, or I'm not gonna get nothing done today. But I'll see you guys later. Bye.